All right, hear me out. I think that a plot hole that exists in Wano country to this day can be answered by the Figarland family. Now, this is crazy because I've been thinking about this for quite a bit of time now. How can I fill in this plot hole? And originally, my answer was always emu, but now I'm thinking, hold on, not only could this be the Figarland family, but it could actually tie into a much deeper plot that the Figarland family has. So this is gonna get nuts. And by the way, if you're enjoying this new style of video right now, then let me know in the comment section down below with, of course, a thumbs up as well. Now, what am I talking about? I'm talking about in chapter 1037, when Zunisha pulled up in all of its glory at the same time what was going on. In Wano country, we had a debate going on with the 5 elders, and the 5 elders were debating about the existence of the Nika power, where they said that the fruit was alleged even for them, and it had not awakened for centuries upon centuries. And then the question was, hold on then why would the world government give that fruit a different name and try to erase that fruit's name, its real name, from history? So as the elders are debating this, what happens 4 chapters later in chapter 1041 is that Guernica, after fighting against Izo and company, Guernica's getting frustrated, but then he gets a call, and then he's told to switch targets, switch priorities from Robin to Luffy, and get yourself involved in the Luffy and Kaido fight. So the 5 elders who were not aware that the Gomu Gomu no Mi was the Hito Hito no Mi Maro Nika realized something, or they found out something in those 4 chapters, and then once they found out, they completely shifted gears and made the immediate call to try and terminate, to try and take out Luffy. So when folks say, well, obviously the elders should have made a play on Luffy and the Gum Gum no Mi a long time ago, it's because they didn't know that the Gum Gum no Mi was the Hito Hito no Mi model Nika. And when they did find out, they made their move. But how did they find out? It could be the case here where Lord Emu told them what was going on finally. For whatever reason, Emu felt like it was the right time to tell the elders. But does that make any sense, really? In the past, I would have and could have argued that, okay, well, Emu is probably very nonchalant about various things, or Emu had a certain purpose in mind, a certain objective, a reason as to why he didn't tell the elders that the Maro Nika fruit was the Gum Gum fruit. So why would it matter to Emu? But the problem is that Oda dropped 1122. When the elders were forced back after the Joy Boy Hockey knot, what did Emu do? Emu freaked out. Emu freaked out upon feeling the hockey of Joy Boy and even collapsed to the ground and needed its aides to tend to it. It was shaking, huffing and puffing. All of the aura farming that Emu has been doing since the Reverie arc, half of that aura farming went down the drain because just feeling a little tinge of Joy Boy hockey brung it to its knees like Jon Snow bowing down to Daenerys Targaryen in Game of Thrones.
I'm pleased you bent the knee to our queen.
3 chapters later, the crash out was in full effect. A highway crash so severe that Emu decided to nix Jay Garcia's Saturn and replace him with Figarland Garling, and made the call without telling the other elders. Emu literally told Jay as he was killing him, giving him the cell shock. Why did you allow Joy Boy to escape? So out of all the things that had Emu on tilt, it was the Joy Boy activity that got Emu the most tilted by far and away. Why would then Emu, who despises Joy Boy so much, have a pretty passive role in not really doing anything to try and attain its power, though we know that the power was avoiding them, fair enough, but then also actively wiping out any person that would ever have Joy Boy's ability? Because with everything else, the world government has been so damn thorough. The Buccaneers were a race of people that seemingly worship the sun god Nika, and they have been for the most part eradicated. The Lunarians, the land of gods they once lived on, might be the Holy Land, and they were also via King aware of Joy Boy, and they have also been damn near what? Eradicated. Banning the study of the Void Century to prevent knowledge of this era and Joy Boy from spreading. And if you do that, well, we know what happens. Ohara. And what they tried to do on Egghead Island. And yes, at times there are major lapses in judgment on their part. Fair enough. But the actual ability not being hounded for on a regular basis, particularly sought and called for by Emu itself on a regular basis, that itself is a massive and a consistent lapse in judgment. How is that possible? And the answer could be, what if Emu itself wasn't aware of the name change from Madonika to Gum Gum, from the Zoonika power to the Paramecium rubber ability? And this is where now we can slide in the Figarland family. The Figarland family might have told the elders and Emu what the deal was at this point in time in the story, because they deemed to be the right time, particularly, of course, Figarland Garling. And that may seem a little bit strange, like, hold on, why didn't they do it at this point in time, at that point in time, and so on and so forth? But keep in mind, the Figarland family, before Garling's ascension in the latest chapters at the end of Egghead Island, the Figarland family are associated with the Holy Knights, and the Holy Knights haven't made a move until literally now. As of the chapter One Piece 1134, they haven't made a move. There have been many like big scale issues that involve the government and the Marines, like for example Marine Ford, the destruction of Enies Lobby, even the Super Buster call onto Egghead Island. The Holy Knights have never made a move, and that even applies to most issues that involve the Celestial Dragons themselves. So they did not make a single move during the Shibondi Archipelago arc, when Rosewall's family was attacked by Luffy and company. When Charlos got destroyed, they made no moves. Even when a few good men, when the Rev pulled up and attacked the Holy Land, they made no plays, as far as we know, to assist the other Celestial Dragons in the city, or even defend Pangea Castle. Think about that for a second. Sabo was able to Batman. He was able to solid snake his way through Pangea Castle all the way to the throne room, launched an assault on Emu and the Five Elders, was able to Mario Kart his ass out of there, and not a single Holy Knight is in the area. That's weird. This is a very strange circumstance for an organization that, as far as you can tell, is very powerful, the Holy Knights. And it's only when another member of the Celestial Dragon needs execution, Don Quixote Myo's guard, it's only then do we first see Garling in the story. So the Holy Knights have never lifted a pinky before in the story. But now on Elbaf, out of nowhere, we're seeing Shanks' evil twin brother Stabs and his assistant Atu, the inverse of Uta, pull up to Elbaf. And for an addendum to this video, now we know as of 1135, their objective is Loki. The reason why, we don't know, but right now they want Loki. But the fact that they are making a move in of itself is a huge deal, and it's very, very telling, because it's likely due to the ascension of Figarland Garling to the rank of Gorose, the rank of Five Elder. That is what it's likely starting the Holy Knights that have never lifted a damn pinky for the vast majority of the series to finally make some moves here, where Garling is using the well-trained, honed warriors, the Holy Knights, to carry out particular missions, potentially across the globe at this point in time, to not only benefit the Holy Land and Emu and company, but you could argue particularly for himself and the Figarland family. It's very likely that Garling is still calling out the shots for the Holy Knights as we speak, and it's probably been that way for a very, very, very long time. Maybe there were some Holy Knights that did want to interfere with a few good men when they raided, but Garling probably told them, don't make a move. Garling probably told Shanks' twin brother to talk to the elders in chapter 907 about a certain pirate, which at this point in time, I think is very likely to be Shanks. Because remember, Gear 5 wasn't even a thing while the Reverie started. This is before Wano Country. But at the same time, there's still a good option for Luffy to be that pirate, because again, if the Figarland family were the only family that were aware that the Gum Gum no Mi is actually the Hito Hito no Mi Mono Nika, then that pirate could still be Luffy. Blackbeard, very unlike at this point in time. He was a prime time option in the past when Shanks did not have an evil twin brother, but now he does. It's like, okay, things change a bit. But given all the context so far, now we can get to the really fun part here. What if Garling planned for all of this to happen? Garling, in some sense, has been waiting for this exact moment, keeping his holy knights off the grid in no man's land, in Narnia, waiting for this particular moment until he ascended into the rank of 5 Elder, and then he's made his move. Garling has been plotting for a while. He's been scheming for a minute. Maybe the reason why Jupiter was sweating in chapter 1125 when Garling took the spot of Saint J. Garcia Saturn. He must have realized Jay's being terminated, but also call this too. When Garling ascended to his position, he was given orders by something beyond even the 5 elders, likely Emu. So it's very likely here that Emu actually favors Figarland Garling over most other people on the Holy Land, including its own 5 elders.
Oh yeah, it's all coming together.
Not only did the elders completely fail at taking out the quote-unquote Joy Boy, but they also failed to recognize that the Gum Gum No Mi was actually the model Nika ability. These are all signs of incompetence, and Emu took out Jay because Jay actually went to ground zero, therefore the one mostly at fault. But all these things are doing what? They're sowing the seeds of dissension among the ranks. If the Figarland family and Garling knew about the Gum Gum fruit actually being the Nika fruit, that would mean that in some cases they actually have more intel, more insight on some secrets about the world than even the current elders do. The more incompetent and the worse off the elders look, the better it makes Saint Figarland Garling look. And we can see how when he first comes to that room in that chapter, they say, "Know your place, Garling. What are you doing? You are a bum. You are a scrub. Lick my shoes, boy." That is the energy they had to Garling. But when he ascended, things changed dramatically. And you could argue that Garling was plotting for this for a very long time. After all, it's hard to keep the former champion of God Valley down. Both J. Garcia Saturn and Garling were both present at God Valley 38 years ago in chapter 1096. We see that. And there are a few mysteries that are going on in that arc. Like, for example, Rox's treasure that was taken. What was that? We don't know. But when it pertains to the Figarland family, the key thing here is Shanks. Now we know from Volume 4 Billion, One Piece Film Red, the Chronicles of Uta, and so on, now we know that Shanks was found in a treasure chest. By the Roger Pirates when they took the treasure, probably pertaining to God Valley in some way. And if Shanks is the son of Figarland Garling, there's probably a good chance that he was extremely distraught that his son at some point went missing. Now, maybe it could be the case here where that was planned, where he knew that he was in that chest from the beginning. And let's say, for example, he was going to win at the God Valley Culling Games, the Candace Everdeen of God Valley, and then he was going to reclaim his son, but... And one thing we don't know either is why was J. Garcia Saturn there particularly? If the reason why Shanks was in a chest in the first place involves J. Garcia Saturn, you see where this is going now? Where Garling could have been harboring a lot of resentment towards the 5 elders, and particularly J. Garcia Saturn, because of what happened to Shanks, his son. And so when you consider the fact that a lot of players on Egghead at some point were in the Holy Land, whether it was Kuma or Bonnie, or let's say even Guinea in the flashback. And I wonder if Oda had Stabs, Shanks' twin brother, appear in Elbaf when we also have 2 characters, Bonnie and Kuma, that were in the Holy Land at one point in time, because there's been some murmurs that Stabs could be the father of Bonnie. So it'd be like a reoccurring thing in the story where Stabs and the Holy Knights now have a direct connection to Bonnie, just how you can argue, like for example, with the beginning of the Yonko saga, it starts with Momonosuke, and Momonosuke's situation kind of blossoms and gets bigger and bigger as the saga goes on and on and on. And there's a good possibility the reason why the shutdown switch didn't work on Bartholomew Kuma, noted to in chapter 1104, the self-destruct button that Jay Garcia-san thought that he pressed, it could be the case here where what's hinted at is Kuma's physiology is what allows him to move despite the fact that he should be in a vegetative state. But it could also involve some tinkering by the Figarland family that at one point in time were able to manipulate Kuma's body unbeknownst to Jay Garcia-Saturn. The plans for Garling could run really deep. Oda said recently in the Q&A that Figarland Garling is strong, and he is strong for a damn good reason. And as far as we know, among the only two Holy Knight families mentioned in the story. So right now we have the Figarland family via Garling, and then also in that same God Valley chapter, we have a mention of the Menmayer family by a girl with the gun, the Beignet. But as far as we know, the Figarland family is the most revered, it is the most loved in the entire Holy Land. Hence why in Film Red, Ethan said, wait.
革命の目を早めについておかねば手遅れになる。あの娘がフィガーランド家の血筋でもか。
That's a big claim to the power and the name notoriety of the Figarland family. And if they happen to have information that not even Emu is privy to, then this family stems all the way back easily to the times of Joy Boy. And they could have been the faces, the heads of the world government before the time of the current 5 elders, since none of them knew that the gum gum fruit was the model Nika fruit. But if this was intel that the Figarland family themselves, who haven't made a move for the entire story, biding their time, waiting for the right time to strike, to claim ascension to the rank of elder, where in the past they could not reach it for whatever reasons, but now they can and have, through Figarland Garling, this gives a lot more onus, a lot more credence to players behind the scenes that I won't say supersede Emu, but they can supersede Emu in the future. Yeah, they can supersede Emu in the future. If Oda wants to take this route, the pathway is there, and it would fill in a lot of gaps and minor plus major plot holes that exist in the story, where a lot of the inactions of the world government could be taken because there was a deliberate hold on a lot of the forces that could have made moves by the Figarland family, who were biding their time, waiting for their move to ascension. And on top of all of that, it gives so much more added credence to what Monkey D. Dragon was saying.
神の騎士団が動き出したら戦いはそこからだ。
So the real battle for the world, that's when it starts. And another way of viewing when the Holy Knights mobilize could genuinely be when the Figarland family mobilizes. That's when we have to have a real battle for the world, because the Holy Knights, even though they comprise of many of their families, it's very clear that the Figarland family stands on top, and they could be aiming for even the highest seat in the land, nay, the world. But let me know your stance on this subject matter at hand. If you enjoy Boys Video content, once again, give it a thumbs up. If you enjoy this new style, let me know, of course, in the comment section down below. And I'm gonna catch you guys and gals on the flip side. Take care, stay safe, have a nice one.
See you. Bye bye.